Hello knitters, Faylin from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today I have a couple classes, and then I'm going to talk about some of the new sweaters that have come out in 2025, January, February, and the ones I have my eye on. So stay tuned. Class is the sweater class, which is March 15th. Yes, this weekend we start March. So March 15th from 12 to 2, and this is our ongoing monthly sweater class. Last time I filled up, so if you're interested in getting into this class, I suggest you call in or whatever, let us know that you want to be in that class. Again, this is to get your sweater correctly started and to get the measurements right and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to need to knit a swatch, so you're going to already have to have your pattern and your yarn. And this is your choice. I'm not doing a specific sweater, I'm just starting your sweaters. And so that, and then you're going to cast on 30 stitches, knit a swatch, knit a row, purl a row, 4 inches. This is all in the newsletter, exactly what you have to do. And then you're also going to bring in a garment like a t-shirt or something that you want to fit the way you want this sweater to fit. So how much do you want it boxy and big, or do you want it like more slim and closer to your body? That's the kind of top you're going to have to bring in, so we can get exact measurements off that top. So that's what you need to do before class, and you still have a couple weeks before the class. So March 15th, as I said, it's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, March 15th from 12 to 2. Okay, next class I have coming up is socks. Yes, socks are a great summer project. I knit socks a lot this summer because it's small. It's that you're working on wool, but it's not woolly feeling at all, and it goes wherever you want it to go really easily. So we do baby socks to teach you. That way you can get through everything. We pretty much can get through all of this part, which is the hard part, in the class. And then you're going to get a skein of this, which is a sport weight. And you can do a DK weight too if you wanted to, but this is the sport weight. You can get 3 socks out of one of these. So if you're wanting to actually use them for a gift, you would need 2 of these. And then you would have 3 pairs of socks. So that's pretty good actually. And you're gonna be on a size I think 3 needle instead of okay, so regular socks are done on fingering. This is sport, so this is the next little bit up. And I knit my socks on size 1 needles. They're very tiny, sometimes a 1.5. But you go down really tiny. Then just casting on, no matter which side you do, because you can do socks toe up, or you can do them cuff down. This is a lot of knitting before you even get to the heel, and it's all about the heel is the part that everybody's So that's why we do this, because this is only a couple rows, a few, I think it's I don't know, 8 rows, 10 rows, and then we start the heel. And so you could easily, and it's not, it's way less stitches than an adult sock is. So that's why I suggested, and then I actually suggest that when you do your first adult pair, that you use more of a worsted weight or a DK weight, and they're just house socks, so there's thicker socks or boot socks. They could be boot socks, but they're thicker socks. But again, you're not down into that teeny tiny needles and yarn, which is a whole learning curve on its own. So then you can do a few pairs of those, and those will go faster and everything. And then if you're liking it, then you can venture into the regular fingering weight and all that has to do. Socks are huge in knitting. If you go on Ravelry, put socks in, millions of socks. It's people love designing socks, people love knitting socks, and there's a lot of socks out there to knit. So I have a lot of socks. I always have a pair going. I don't get to knit on that much anymore, but I used to knit a few pairs every year. But I wear them in the wintertime, and in my boots I wear them, in my tennis shoes I wear them all the time in the wintertime, and at home I wear them a lot because they keep your feet warm. It's merino wool, and so merino wool, you don't sweat, your feet don't sweat and get cold, and it just keeps things warm. I'll even pair up a regular sock or a heavier sock with then my other socks on top of them, just to really insulate everything. So yeah, so the other thing is you're going to need to knit 3 socks before you know whether or not you like socks. you're probably gonna not love the first one because your brain is trying to just even figure out what this is all about and how do I do this. So you gotta do this like all 3 times here, and then once your brain starts really understanding what's going on, then it becomes much more fun because there's a lot of just plain knitting. You get to the heel, you do the heel, which takes like an hour, and then there's a lot of plain knitting unless you put a pattern in it. So it really is a very good thing to just like not thinking knitting, because you only have the heel part to think about. That's it. And the toe is simple after you've done a heel. So you got a lot of just regular knitting. So it's kind of relaxing. You also have to do magic loop or 2 circulars, because this is a very tiny circle and we don't have any needles that go that little. There are needles that go not this little. This is too little. But there are sock needles that are like 9 inches. So if you wanted to try those out, you could. The needle is like that big, literally. It's like that big, which means you're knitting sort of like this. My knitting style, I can't do it. It doesn't work for me because of the way I hold my needles and how I do things. But there are people who love those things because, man, you're just knitting in a circle. It's fabulous. So if want to try that out, you're welcome to try that out and let us know, and we'll get you a pair, ordered. And yeah. So the sock class is, God, it's going to be the end of March 29th, Saturday from 12 to 2. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some sweaters. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one we have up on our mannequin now. It's so cute. So I'll have a picture here. I'll give you a picture of the yarns we have. It's the Melody sweater, which we have done in so many different yarns now. And it just is a really nice, fast knit. And so this you're up on, I think, a 13. I think she was on a 13. It might have been a 15. I haven't asked her. So, but you're on bigger needles and it's top down. There's no sewing. You're done when you're done. And it's just a really great sweater. Now this yarn is way softer than you would think it is. You'd think it'd be a little bit woolly, and it's not. It's pretty soft, and especially for a jacket, so you're gonna be wearing stuff under it. But it's so cute. It really is so cute. So the Melody sweater is like a really good option for like your first sweater, second sweater for sure, maybe your second sweater for sure, and you're doing the raglan increasing, so that's a really good sweater to start in. Okay, so I think all the sweaters I'm going to talk about are DK weight sweaters, and which that's just a little bit lighter than a merino, and a worsted, and it's a step heavier than this is. So this is sport, then you have DK, then you have worsted, then you have Aran, and you go into bulky, chunky stuff, and you're in La La Land at there, what exactly all that means. But these bottom ones, fingering, sport, worsted, Aran, and Aran is actually, if it's a British yarn, their Aran is our worsted. That's what they call it instead of worsted. But then we also have an Aran, which is like a heavy worsted. It's like it's just thicker than worsted, but not like chunky or bulky. So DK is what we're going to be doing, because we have a lot of DK in here. We have that brand new DK I talked about last week that I'm in love with. I still don't know what I'm going to do with it, but any of these would work. So some of them are like beginning sweaters, and then I have a few that are more like a top, which again, DK is a lighter weight, so that this can move into spring and summer evenings, in the evenings and stuff like that. So that's my idea. And okay, so now I'm just going to put them up here and talk about them. Okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a basic sweater by Petite Knits called Monday Sweater, and as I said, this is a DK. This is a raglan sweater. You have a rolled collar. Now, anytime on the neckline, you don't have to have a rolled neckline. It can be a straight neckline. If some of them are higher and you don't want them high, you're just going to knit a few rows of the neckline and bind off. You don't have to knit them up. You can keep them low. So don't let the neckline make you go, absolutely not, because those are easy to sort of tweak and change to what you actually want. But the rolled necklines are actually really cool, and they fit really well and sort of stay down. But this is just your basic raglan down, top down, no sewing sweater. And so any kind of basic raglan is always a good one to try to do as your first or second sweater, because it's very basic. The next one is by Siri Norland, And this is Apollonius, and this is the lightweight version. She has a heavier weight version using a heavier yarn. As I said, this is a DK, but it's also a circular yoke, which means as you knit around the top, you'll have rows that you increase around the whole thing, and then you have a few plain rows, and then you'll do another increased row. So there's no increased line. You'll see it, like if you look real close here, you can see the little holes, or the way, no, this one doesn't have the holes, but the way the stitches are fanning out like that. And so that's a circular. So circulars are really nice and pretty simple to do. This one is, again, seamless. It has short rows. Now, almost all sweaters right now are doing short rows in the back. And short rows is when you knit to a certain place and then you turn around and you purl back, and then you turn around and then you purl back. You can probably knit further, and then you knit further, or you knit closer, depending on how they're doing it. But anyways, short rows means you're turning in the middle of the row, which means you have shortened your row. You're not knitting to the end of the row, and you're building up fabric in a certain spot. So you're building up in a sweater, we're building up the fabric in the back of our necks, and that helps the neckline push up and keeps this down instead of wanting to pull back all the time. We're always having to do this to get, to get it down. It keeps it so that doesn't happen. So it just builds up a little. It's not, short rows are like, I don't know, about 8 or 10 rows, and then that's it. And so you're going to run into short rows. You need to get that down. So any sweater, it's a good way to start understanding the whole short row thing. So this is a really, really nice sweater. This isn't a drop. This is a circular. And then you'll be picking up your sleeves and knitting them in the round. So there's no sewing, which again, gotta love that, right? And like all the others, this is a DK weight yarn. And it's another circular yoke. And again, it's a DK, but I think you're on a little bigger needle, so the gauge looks like it's a little bit looser, so it's not quite as tight of a sweater. It's a little bit of looser weave in the sweater, which means it's gonna be cooler. This is Lehan sweater, and I cannot pronounce her name. She's obviously Norwegian of some sort. And I guess that's a bunch of letters. I don't know what that is, but it's right here. Okay, so again, this is a circular, and this one you can see the holes. The holes are where the increases were, and then they just use that as part of the design. So that you're getting that hole because of an increase, and then it just becomes part of the design. So it's really, really good. So then this is a nice, really nice, lightweight kind of sweater, and circular yokes are fun. They're a good thing. Okay, the next one is Mirror Sweater by Anita Blair. And this is a ribbed sweater, and ribbed sweaters are huge right now. So this is a loosely knit ribbed sweater. It's a raglan, and so it's just a top-down raglan, but you're doing, I think it's a 3x1 rib. So you knit 3 purl 1, knit 3 purl 1. You can also do a 2x2 rib. It can be any rib you want, but the more stitches you have in one, like a 3x1 is going to stay flatter than a 2x2 is going to have more of a pull in like ribs do, but it can be done very loosely. So it's not really pulling in, but it just has more of a rib effect to it. So, and I'll show you one of those in a minute. So yeah, so this is a gorgeous sweater, top down raglan, super simple. Again, the neckline, she actually has the sweater right here that has the lower neckline, so you don't have to do the up neckline, it is the lower neckline. And yeah, so that's the Mirror sweater. And then there's Petite Knits version, vertical striped sweater. This is also another option. This is also a DK. This is, I'm not quite sure what this is a 4x4 rib. So again, this isn't a rib that's gonna pull in a lot. It's gonna lay pretty flat, but it's very, you see it, it's very visible. It's very, yeah, you see it really well. And if you make it on the bigger side, this is just one of those cozy, like stay warm. I love my sweater kind of sweaters. That's what this is. And this is Petite Knits, which if you don't know Petite Knits, she's very prolific. She's, I think, Norwegian, and has a lot of basics. She's really good with basics. So if you ever want to go look at her patterns, because they're all really good patterns. I'm gonna do some of the lighter weight stuff. It's still DK, but I think you're gonna be, yeah, like 6s and stuff. So this is just a really simple little cardigan. It's called Line Cardi by Maria Matska. And as you can see, it's got some vertical lines, which I'm pretty sure are just purl rib. Yeah, you just purl a row on the right side every so many rows to get that. So this texture is a super simple texture to do. Again, this is a set-in sleeve. Long sleeve, no ease. Yeah, set-in sleeve. and it's seamless. So that means you're picking up stitches on the top of the hole and you're knitting back and forth, picking up stitches, which isn't hard, and then you've got the thing and then you knit the sleeve out. And so it's a really clean looking sleeve when you do that, and you can do it so that it fits because you can keep putting it on and seeing if it fits the way you want it to fit. So the set-in, knit as you go, set-in sleeves are really a good technique. My last one is also circular thing up at top, and I didn't yoke, and I didn't realize I picked so many circular yokes. But this is a circular yoke, and again DK, and again this is way more summery. This one is either long sleeves or short sleeves, and it's worsted. So this is worsted. This is my only worsted. So that's a little bit bigger than the DK is. But this is a very simple sweater. I love the little details on the top and the bottom and the cuffs in the bottom of the sleeves. It's a simple little detail, but it really makes it nice. And I also like how it sort of flares. I'm a sucker for that kind of a little bit of a flare at the hips because that works for me. So this is Delphos by Kata Rubik. And yeah, there you go. That's some ideas, just ideas. And if you can go down that rabbit hole, there's, you know, on the filters in Ravelry, there's a difficulty one, and I think I did all easy for this, or maybe medium, but you can do easy, do piece of cake ones, you know, so that you're getting patterns that you know are going to be simple. Then always look for how many people have knitted them. On Ravelry, just use the filters because the links are going to take you into Ravelry. So if you want to look for more, then just use your filters. You filter, you want knitting, you want clothing, you want a sweater or a vest or top, you want a DK weight, worsted weight, you want difficulty level. They've got piece of cake, easy, medium. You know, I think most of these were under the easy one. Piece of cake would be a good one to try if you're really like brand new at all this. And I think that's adult, because that way you don't end up with a bunch of baby stuff in your feed. But anything else, just look over there. But those are the basic ones I use all the time to filter down to what I'm actually looking for. You can do, I want a yoke sweater, I want a drop sleeve sweater, I want a raglan sweater. There's all in attributes, and I think it's construction. You can say what kind of sleeves things you want, how you want the sleeves to be, and how you want the neckline to be. So you can sit and do all of that. It's great. So get to Ravelry. As a matter of fact, I should do a Ravelry class pretty soon. I'm going to do a Ravelry class pretty soon. And I do that at home on Zoom with you on Zoom, so we can look at the screen and see what it's all about. Because there's a lot there. There's so much there. So anyways, that's it for this week. And I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye.